My name is Garrett Randall, and this is my 1970 LT1 Corvette. What got me into cars is my dad had a 1972 Pantera that he kept from the 70s, and it was in the garage my whole life. I just fell in love with it. I would go out there and play in it and run around on it, and it just got me into cars from the day I realized what it was. Me and my dad started collecting cars from when I was the age of about 13. My brother was into sports and I was into cars, so my dad would do sports with him and cars with me, and it started out with a 67 Camaro. It was going to be my high school car, and we kind of went nuts with it and restored it too nice to where I didn't want to drive it. My car is nicknamed Rambo because it's American, it's wide, it's mean, and it's green. You know, I wasn't into Corvettes. I wasn't a Corvette guy, and I was getting more into the autocross world, and I was autocrossing a 1970 El Camino that I had built, and it just wasn't working. It was breaking and it didn't handle that well. I wanted to stick with vintage, but I wanted something that handled better, so everyone kept telling me, go with the Corvette. So I started looking for Corvettes at that point on. I had actually purchased another C3 Corvette, and I had reached out to a shop to help me build it and have some more intel on racing because I was new to it. This car was the shop owner's car that he actually was redoing himself, and I was gonna buy all of the suspension parts off of it and the motor and all that. Over time, we eventually came to agreement of it'd just be cheaper for me to buy his car and then put it back together and finish it, and that's what we ended up doing. My car was built by JCG Customs and Restoration. We put all different suspension on it. It's Van Steel suspension, tubular control arms. We put JRI coilovers on the whole car, front and rear. We did some aero and stuff like that, but we put an LS motor in it, T56 6-speed transmission, you know, upgraded the cooling, built a custom fuel system for it. The most noticeable probably is the flares. We flared the car out quite a bit. We actually built the flares to the wheels. We bought the wheels and then built everything around that so it fit perfectly. They're one-off, no one else has any. I always liked flares on cars, not necessarily Corvettes. And then once I got into the Corvette scene, I was never really a fan of the C3 Corvette, but I saw a couple that had flares on it and I thought, okay, that actually looks good. I'm into that. And then once I started putting the car together and building it, I just started taking influence from, you know, I'm a Craigslist and internet hunting nut. I'll look at other builds, I'll go to SEMA and look at what people are doing, and I kind of just put in memory, or I have a notebook and I write things down, and I just started piecing together things I saw and liked, and eventually kind of came up with the concept of the car. The car is actually an original LT1, 70 LT1 Corvette, and I have the number matching motor and the protectile plate and all that. So the purist Corvette guys get super upset when I tell them that it's a real LT1 numbers matching, because, you know, the car's been hacked up. But in reality, the car has been autocrossed and raced since the 80s. It was hacked up back then, so I didn't feel bad at all. But, you know, other people who just like custom cars or pro touring or any of that, everyone seems to love it. I get a lot of thumbs up. It does very well in autocross. I mean, I couldn't be happier with it. It grips really well. I work for a family business. My dad started a trash and recycle company called Rent-A-Bin back in the 70s, and I just, you know, did college and didn't really know what I wanted to do, and always knew how to do the recycling, and I enjoy working with heavy equipment, so I've been working full-time for the last 10, 12 years. I hope the classic car scene never dies. I hope people like you and me have kids and teach our kids, and they teach their kids. As time goes on, I'm becoming more okay with hot rod electric cars because it's undeniable the torque and speed that they can produce on them. I just still can't get past the point of there's no sound and how lame that is. I don't know, there's something about a loud car that smells like gas and rides rough, and, you know, that's part of some of the culture, in my opinion. I hope that the classic car scene, or even the car scene, sticks around, even if it goes electric, and people still find a way to make that passion and continue. But I think for me personally, there's always gonna be a little bit of like non-acceptance there. But, you know, hey, to each his own, and everyone has a passion and a like, and I'm sure it's gonna be one cool scene in the future. If a 16-year-old kid or someone was to come up to me and ask about getting into the car scene and what to do, the advice I would give is to just do it. You know, buy something that you like. You know, obviously certain cars like a Mustang or Camaro or Chevelle or some, there are more parts available and easier to restore or fix up. But, you know, talk to people, go to car shows, go to car meets, start meeting people and talking to people. You'll learn, ask questions, learn what to look for in a car, what to stay away from. If you don't know, take someone with you to go look at your first car, but mainly just save up some money or get some help, whatever you can, get a car that you're passionate about and just go out there and start driving it and wrenching on it and doing and learning.